Hey everyone, this week's episode is a joint episode with Figuring It Out with Kelsey Ayers. We hope you enjoy.
I'm Pamela Portnoy.
I'm Alexa Marie Anderson.
And no one's okay.
I am so excited to be here today with Alexa and Pam from No One's Okay. I am Kelsey Eyers, and I am an entrepreneur, a podcast host, and an e-commerce and affiliate marketing mentor. I am actually switching up the format of my podcast here in season 2, where I want to make it a little bit more conversational and a little less uniform. I want to have fun with my guests, and while I learn about you, I also want my guests to be able to learn about me. So let's get this rolling. I want to hear, first of all, your guys' journey. First of all. Is that even a word? Because I had this conversation yesterday.
I literally have that question all the time. It feels so strange. Like the plural of guys.
Yeah.
Is it guys or guyses? It's
guys.
Confusing.
I seriously had this conversation yesterday because I'm from Wisconsin. I'm from the Midwest, and I'm always like, your guys's. And then I catch myself. I'm like, is that even real?
I say it all the time. I know. And it feels weird when it comes out of your mouth, but you're like, but what else would I say?
Yeah, your
journey?
Your journeys. I guess. I don't know. Whatever. So I want to hear more about your journeys and how you ended up in SoCal. And I know you guys are both in acting. And I want to hear all about you because this is the first time that we're really getting to meet.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Would you like to go first, Alexa, or should I?
Sure, I will go.
All right.
I ended up in California. Well, I'm from Pittsburgh originally, and I ended up on the West Coast for acting, to pursue acting. I've always wanted to come to LA since I was little, actually, and watching Disney Channel and wanting to audition for all of those shows.
Yeah.
So it's always been a dream of mine, but just made that dream a reality and moved out here to pursue acting and met the lovely Pamela at our side hustle. We're both actors, and as you have that extra job on the side.
What is that?
Right now for me, it's I work in a bridal store. I'm a manager at a bridal store, which
fun.
Is fun. Retail fun.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
But we met at a gym working at the same spin studio.
Right. Cool. Exactly. We met at a spin studio at the time, and we became close friends through working together. And we decided that we were going to create something of our own, which is a podcast. So here we are.
I love that.
Here we are. I'm from LA. I was born and raised in the Valley, and I've been acting since I was a kid. I did lots of after school plays, and I kind of took a break from it once I was in high school, college, to kind of focus on my studies. I was a film major. Then after I graduated, I decided to really focus on pursuing it full time. And that's what I've been doing. And like Alexa said, we met at that side job, and we thought it would be a really artistically and creatively fulfilling project to start together. We found that after work, we would constantly be venting together over, what one vents over during happy hour.
Yeah.
And we're really good at venting. And we always cracked each other up, and we're like, maybe it translates to an audience cracking up at what we're doing. So we try to, lean into different activities, adventures, exercises, and film watching to help us become better actors and better people in the process.
I love that.
Oh, thank you.
I love that. And first of all, I respect the hustle. I'm all about the side jobs.
I know you are.
Yeah, I mean, my side job has a side job, I think.
Love it.
It's so cool.
Crazy. Thank you. But I respect that. And I honestly respect following what you want to do, knowing that right now it's probably not going to look exactly like you want it to, but being able to kind of detach from how you're going to get there and just see the end goal. Isn't that that? If you really think about it, that's what everybody is doing or is trying to do, is they have their big dream and their big picture, and they're not exactly sure how they're going to make it there, but as long as you're taking the little steps to get there and, keeping yourself accountable on the way, like you will. So
Exactly.
I love that.
I love that advice from you because I was, looking and researching like your podcast, and I was looking into your businesses, plural.
Yes.
And I was just amazed. And I had so many questions for you. And I think that that's such an important part of it is trying to see the end result rather than like getting overwhelmed with what you have like right in front of you.
Yeah. I mean, because let's be real, it can be really overwhelming. And if you guys are anything like me, I am not the most patient person in the world. And when I think of something, I like want it right now.
Yes.
But that can literally be debilitating. Like it can just derail you from any goal that you have if you can't be somewhat patient. I don't think I'll ever be a patient person. That's just not an attribute that I have in me. But I've definitely learned over the course of time here that you can have the big dreams and the big goals, but as long as, they're not going to happen today, and they're probably not going to look anything like you want them to be honest, but better usually. So just be patient, be open-minded, and just go with the flow. Like you just got to relax sometimes and just let things happen.
I couldn't agree more. I am terrible at being patient, so I completely relate with you. And sometimes it feels like I'm trying to will things to happen. And in the process of doing that, not only am I just not a good person in that time, in that moment, but it's not going to work. Like you kind of got to put in the work and then let the things come to you. Working on yourself is huge too. I find that when I'm focusing on myself and my bettering the relationships around me, success starts to come my way.
Absolutely.
Bettering myself as a human. Yeah.
Yeah. I honestly always say that some people don't need like a big dream or entrepreneurship or something like that in order to like go on a self-development journey or really do a lot of self-reflection. But I did. I wasn't someone who was just going to be like, I'm going to be better today. And I needed those things to hold me accountable in order to make myself a better person, not just in business, but in, like you said, the relationships in my life, for myself, my health, everything. So those things held me accountable. And I feel like it just all kind of came together at the right moment. But yeah,
I think that's
agree.
wonderful. How did if you don't mind me asking, how did your entrepreneurial journey start?
Sure. So I'll kind of give you like the condensed version here. I moved from Wisconsin to California when I was 25 years old. I'm 30. I just turned 30 now. So this has been a pretty short amount of time here. I kind of like diddle daddled, just drank a lot, went out with my friends every night. When I first moved to California, it was like, of course, I had hardly seen the beach in my life. I was like, this is like a dream come true. So I spent a couple years just like working around the clock. I was a nanny. I was an event coordinator. I worked, I was a bartender, a server, honestly, you name it. I probably tried it. So I did just any kind of dead end job you can imagine where I was just like, just paying the bills, nothing I was ever passionate about. And then I was always struggling with anxiety. That was something that was just a real big part of me. And I took medication for it, but I hated the way it made me feel. So after living here for about 3 years, I was introduced to CBD, and I tried a CBD product, and I instantly was like, okay, one, this is amazing. And this makes me feel better than my medication ever did. That day I stopped taking it. I literally have not taken an anxiety medication since that day. And at the same time, I had really been wanting freedom. I was working 3 jobs and was like, why did I move to California if I can't enjoy it? Like I'm sitting inside all day.
Yeah.
So I really took that opportunity to be like, this is something that I could sell, and this is something I could make a business out of. And I capitalized on that and grew my business, Sweat CBD, to a 6-figure business in under a year. I just say it was like a learning time capsule. Like, I don't think I learned shit from like kindergarten till like through college. I really don't. And then all of a sudden in this year, I learned so much that it allowed me to then take all the skills that I learned while building that business onto helping other people build their businesses, and kind of started my own consulting agency. And then from there, now have built a startup kind of accelerator for early entrepreneurs called Boss Box, along with my podcast. So yeah, it just all kind of like was one thing to the next. But again, like it just goes back to what we were just talking about. When I started Sweat CBD, did I think that I would be doing this now? Absolutely not. But I'm so glad I am. And who knows what'll be, in 5 years. So it's
You
just,
never know.
yeah.
That's really amazing. So you really learned by doing. Sorry, Alexa, I knew you were going to jump in. You learned by doing.
Absolutely. I learned by being forced to do, actually. What I learned too is that even with my podcast, I bought the equipment like 2 years ago and it started collecting dust on the corner of my desk. And then finally I'm like, you know what? Like I'm going to actually pay somebody to like coach me through this so that every day they're like, hey, Kelsey, did you do this? Did you do this? Are we up to speed on this? That way I was like holding myself accountable. And I was forced to figure it out. At the beginning of starting my business, I was at that point too prideful to ask anybody for help because it's like, oh, well, you started a business, you should know what you're doing, right?
Right.
So yeah, I was forced into figuring it out myself. And thankfully, but yeah, I think it's a little bit of stubbornness in me as well.
I think that's such a kind of cumbersome mindset to have, to expect someone that has a great business idea to know every single aspect of a business from the get-go. Like you may not plan to like start like a massive company, but you have like this really, you see where there's need in the market and you want to go with it, but you're going to have to learn some things. I feel like not everyone, that goes into business is like a business major from the beginning or like knows everything.
Yeah.
And that's inspiring to me.
Well, thank you so much. And honestly, that those struggles that I speak about while starting Sweat CBD that's the name of my CBD business. While starting that, I just literally took mental notes of all the things that I sucked at and all the things that held me up and all the things that I wasted money on, wasted time on, and, were really big struggles. And so then now I've taken that idea and I've turned it into my newest business, which is called Boss Box. And essentially what it is it's the idea of like an online business in a box for somebody. So what we want to do is we want to take someone's idea and I want to help them skip over all of those messy, expensive, time consuming, and just stressful situations that I went through while building my business and bring them kind of an expedited business in a box in like 60 to 90 days. And then we train them into how to use that. Obviously you need to develop those skills, but it really it can really save people, a lot of time and energy.
That's amazing.
Absolutely. Do you have any advice for anyone that is wanting to start their own business? I really relate to your journey with having all the jobs and then feeling like you're not enjoying your life because you're just going from job to job. I very much so relate to that. So do you have any advice for people like that out there?
Yes, absolutely. That it's never going to be perfect. So don't wait for it to be, because if you're like, say that you are, I don't know, you're launching I don't know, let's just say a vitamin company. Okay. And the branding is like, questionable. You have the product, there's customers for it. Your processes may not be perfect yet. Start selling, get it out there, make the first moves, because you're going to make mistakes regardless. And you're going to learn from those mistakes. So I think the biggest advice I would give is to just start. Like you're going to struggle a little bit, but you're going to learn.
I love that. That actually makes me think of a quote that I try to live by, but I'm like terrible at it. And I wish I knew who wrote it. I can't remember it right now, but it's jump and the net will appear. Sometimes I just have
so scary.
to it is scary, but it's true. Like sometimes if you just got to do it, like Nike, just do it. Like, honestly, you really do. And if you're hardworking and you are quick on your feet, like you'll figure it out. it out. You got this.
Yeah. And I can honestly tell you too, that like, regardless of how much planning you do and how much like time you put in at the beginning and like preparing yourself for perfection, like it's still going to make the same mistake. So get it over with, learn from it and move on. And if you listen to any big founder of amazing companies. Have you guys ever heard of the podcast, How I Built This?
Yes.
Okay. So that's just, if you listen to those people's stories, like none of their original ideas are what is out there now, is what's on market. Like it's something completely different usually, because you're going to pivot, you're going to have to adapt to customer feedback, you're going to have to make tons of changes, and you yourself as a founder are going to change, and your values are going to change. So yeah, just start.
It's a living, breathing thing. Pam and I
literally took it out of my mouth.
Yeah.
That's what we always say, because, our podcast now is certainly not the podcast that we had when we first started. And a lot of it had to do with, the pandemic in the last year. Because a lot of what we were doing was going out into the world, going on adventures, like going skydiving, and then talking about fear on an episode, doing things like that. And obviously we haven't been able to do that. In fact, we've been recording like this remotely.
Yeah.
So we've had to come up with kind of more out of the box, or more, I guess, in the box ideas, because we're inside, to keep going.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally see that.
Yeah. But I'm sure you're going to look at this in like a year and go, wow, like that happened for a reason. Like, I know that sounds like so cheesy, and I am like anti-cheese ball. Like I am just much more of like a realist, but it really, you're going to look at it and it really will be so much better than what you even had planned, because it's going to open up the right doors. And I just say the same thing. Like when I was at the beginning of March, when the pandemic really started and everybody went into lockdown, my biggest avenue for revenue with my CBD business was like wholesale. I was selling to like retail chains across the country. And that was where all of our money came from, all of our cash flow. And when that stopped, I was like, oh shit, like, what are we going to do? So I dove into affiliate marketing, and I learned how to build an affiliate program for my business from scratch. And then now have taken that tool on to build another 6-figure business in itself. So it's like, at the time, yeah, I was freaking out, but it happened for a reason. And now I'm better off because of it. So I think you're going to probably think the same thing when you look at like, how you had to change your idea, but
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I've just learned so much about myself doing the podcast. And I'm sure same for you with all of your businesses. You learn so much about yourself and how you deal with things. It's a very cool experience and very rewarding.
Yes. Yeah. I always say it's like a mirror. Like it's a mirror that you just like put in front of yourself, and you have to like face yourself, because you have to know your strengths and you have to know your weaknesses, and you can't just kind of like brush them under the rug. So you have to be very self-aware, and you kind of understand that like improving as a person is also going to then improve your business. So if you're not taking care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, you're not going to be the best boss. You're not going to be the best for your customers. You're not going to be putting out your best ideas and your best work. So yeah, it really goes so much more together than people even think, I think.
Yeah. And speaking of that, is there anything, you're a very busy woman, what do you do to recharge? Like when you're feeling, I'm sure you're always working super hard, but when you're feeling overwhelmed, what do you do to recharge and kind of lift yourself up?
Yeah. So I have honestly always been pretty good at like knowing boundaries, because I like to have fun. Like I really do. I love to eat. I love to drink tequila.
She's one of us.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh, no, trust me. I have an off switch. My husband might beg to differ, because just the last few months have been a little bit crazy, but that's all just kind of like the ebb and the flow. There's always going to be seasons, as we say. Like some are going to be super busy. Some I could, go on vacation for a couple weeks and I wouldn't even be missed. It just really depends. But I've always had a pretty clear like end day. Like your girl ain't working on like Saturday night. Like I am going to be at a restaurant somewhere, grubbing, drinking, having fun. And yeah, I mean, that's what I do for fun is just like be with my husband, be with my friends, go out and be social. We like to travel. So yeah. And I exercise like fitness is important to me as well. So I make sure I have like that 90 minutes in the morning that is just like me time where that's like a recharge button for me.
I was curious about the name for Sweat CBD. Does it come from your passion for fitness and working out?
Yeah. So I saw a gap in the market where nobody was really targeting like fitness and athletes because it has so many recovery benefits for fitness and for like muscle recovery. It's like 20 times stronger than taking aspirin or ibuprofen for inflammation. So
wow, I did not know that.
Yes. And it also helps improve sleep, which is also going to improve muscle recovery. So it's really, really great for athletes and people who just love fitness. And I didn't really see anybody doing that at the time. And then, yes, that couples with my background in health and fitness and just loving sports and loving going to the gym. So I kind of wanted to mesh my worlds.
I love that. That's wonderful.
Did you play any sports? Sorry, I was curious. Did you play any sports growing up?
I did. I played soccer. I played very competitive soccer like year round. And I grew up in a family that like sports was everything, like everything. I was the oldest. I have two brothers. One of my brothers went on to play junior league hockey and one has now gone on to play professional hockey. So
wow.
Awesome.
Yeah. Very athletic and always outside and just, sports was like our reason for living.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. And you said you were from the Midwest and East Coast is like that too. Like I come from a family that is very big on sports and they had a dancer. So they were like, what's happening?
Yeah. But honestly, I think if I did do like a little bit of dance when I was younger, but like my parents like told me I was just so awkward, which makes a lot of sense now because my husband says when I dance, I look like a board. So like, I think like, it's all making sense now. The journeys are in the past
it's all good. I love it. And dance is a sport, by the way. It can be a sport. It's physical activity.
Absolutely. Yes. Like I have gotten really, really sore from dancing before.
Oh yeah.
So is that what we're going to say from now on? Like when we go out, like dancing and drinking, we're going to be like, I'm working out.
Yes, exactly. That is exactly what we're going to say.
Yes. Have you ever noticed too, that like after you've had a couple drinks, like going on like a slight jog just seems like extremely easy. Like I remember like being in college and going out to the bars downtown and I lived like 2 miles away and just being like, I'm just going to take a casual jog home tonight.
There's something about tequila. I like any other alcohol, that would not be the case. With tequila, I'd be like, yeah, I can run a marathon right now for sure. I believe it.
I know and I think that must be an age thing too. Cause now I feel like I have a couple of cocktails and I'm like yawning, like, oh,
bedtime.
Yeah, that too.
For a movie. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
So I know that I've told my story here about entrepreneurship now, but I think really you ladies are also entrepreneurs in a sense, because when you're in control of your income, you're in control of your time. Nobody's telling you how much you can make. There's no cap on what you can do. And it's really up to you. I would consider that an entrepreneur as well. So how has your entrepreneurial journey really panned out and kind of where do you see it going in the next few years?
Well, it's still going. We're still working things out. But yeah, no, it's been a really exciting journey. And you're absolutely right. Being in charge of your own time and money is so freeing. I just love that we get to plan our own schedules, it's not a 9 to 5, that I can text her and be like, hey, what's the game plan for this week? And we figure it out and we plan everything on our own time. And it's very easy to set boundaries. I have a really great partner. Pam's awesome. So I can be like,
likewise.
Yeah. If I need to,
thank you.
If I need to do something or take care of something, it's not an issue. And that's amazing. And I just hope that we continue to grow our listenership. That's been something that we've been setting goals for ourselves this year. We're huge goal setters. And we've been reaching some milestones for us. Tiny steps, baby steps, but we're doing it.
I would say so. I think this started off as kind of a passion project, something to keep us occupied and creative. And as the longer we've been doing it, we have noticed like slow growth, but growth nonetheless. And we would like to get to the point where we are completely, that we can leave our other side jobs to kind of just focus on this as well as our acting. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting closer every day. And that's hopeful. And we're just trying to stay nimble, and consistency is something that I've personally been struggling with because, it's been a tough year for everyone emotionally, I think. And so there are some weeks where I'm like super on it and we're like weeks ahead of schedule. And then there are days where I'm like just playing catch up. And it's hard for me to find a balance sometimes.
Yeah. And that kind of goes back to like the seasons that I was talking about too. And honestly, I think there is so much pressure. We put so much pressure on ourselves to be on all the time, but nobody is on like that. The only reason that you're noticing it now is because it's your thing. When you're working for someone else, if you're not on every day, it's whatever. Like
we don't care.
Yeah, we don't care.
So true.
Yeah, some days you go to work and you're in a good mood and you're saying hi to everybody. And then other days you're just like, let me stay in my cubicle, right?
Don't look at me.
Don't look at me.
Talk to me.
Yeah, exactly. But when you are like, you're forcing yourself to really like I said, look in that mirror because you're working for yourself. You can be a little hard on yourself because you're not on every single day. And I absolutely have been up until like, I don't honestly like just a few months ago. And I really kind of had a little self-conversation and was like, you don't need to be on all the time. If you're just not feeling it, step away, go on a walk, go get some fresh air, go do something fun. And then maybe when you get back, you might feel it. If not, cool. Like the world can wait. We need to be a little bit more like give ourselves a little bit more grace because nobody is on all the time. And yeah, it ebbs and flows. It's seasons. I always say, like, if you're feeling inspired, run with it because you might not feel like that tomorrow. If you're not, like, just wait. Tomorrow's a new day. So.
This too shall pass. Yeah,
exactly.
Totally.
What would you say to someone that was struggling with self-doubt when it comes to their own, business journey or creative journey?
That for sure that confidence is created. Like nobody's just born super confident. I really don't believe that. Like even if it's from like a really young age, like they created it themselves by putting themselves in uncomfortable situations that force them to grow. So like one thing that stands out in my mind is I joined a business mastermind full of just very successful entrepreneurs last year. And I was so afraid to go up and introduce myself and speak and say, hi, I'm Kelsey, and stand in front of this big room. I don't know why, but it was just like, I was seriously just chewing my CBD gummies like they were candy, like hoping that I would just like calm down. I contemplated going to the bathroom and like not coming out, but I stood up there and I did it. And I left 3 days later feeling just like literally like a 180 on my confidence level. Like I had done a full turnaround as to how I viewed myself, how I viewed my businesses, how I viewed my skill set. And I think that I wasn't going to gain that confidence if I had just stayed in my little bubble and just did what felt good for me. So I had to learn it. And after a while, it kind of becomes addicting. So now I'm like, I don't really, even if I have self-doubt, I find situations that are going to make me uncomfortable. And then I seek them out because I know on the other side of that is like a new me and a better me. So I would just say like, yeah, make yourself uncomfortable, put yourself in those situations and you'll overcome that doubt as a result of that.
That sounds so, you're very wise. Those, I think like Alexa was talking about setting like business goals. And I feel like those will happen if you're simultaneously setting personal goals.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that's wonderful advice. And honestly, it's really hard for me to believe. I believe you, but it's hard when you tell me, oh, I had trouble like talking to someone because you are coming off as so confident and like poised and like you hold yourself like so well. And like,
thank you.
Clearly like Her methods work, you
Her
guys.
methods work. Listen to her.
Yeah,
Yes.
it really is true though. And I promise you, like a year ago, I wouldn't have gotten on a podcast. I mean that. Like I would have, if I would have probably written like a sticky note script and had it like stuck to the side of my computer and sounded robotic because I hadn't pushed myself yet. But I think if you're feeling like you got it figured out, like you need to try something new, like bring on a new, I don't know, something new to overcome. And like I said, on the other side, you're going to come out bigger, better, stronger.
It's
Love
funny
that.
you mentioned the script because I think I remember Pam and I, our first couple podcasts, we like legit, it wasn't like a script, but we kind
It
of
was
wrote
close.
out.
It was close.
We were like writing out exactly what we wanted, like the points we wanted to hit, what we wanted to talk about. And you just reminded me of that. I actually forgot that we even did that. So that's funny looking back on, we've come so far in that way because we just go with it now.
So I have a screen on this side here as well. And if you look at episode 1, okay, I have like a podcast Trello where I used to write out my questions. I would have to do like 5 large scrolls to get through the script that I wrote for episode 1. Okay. And I probably wrote it 2 weeks in advance, right? Just thinking about exactly how I was going to translate. How was I going to ask this question? And I swear to God, it was 1:55, and I went and put some mascara on quick because I looked like a boy sitting behind my computer with my glasses on and my ponytail. And then I was like, oh my God, I have a podcast in 5 minutes. And I just pull up. Okay. I'm like, all right, jotted 3 questions down, popped on, and here we are. So it changes. And I think you guys would technically be like episode like 27 for me. So it changes soon, you know?
Absolutely. Oh God, that's so funny. What I found about the script writing for podcasts is it's wonderful to be prepared, and it's wonderful to have it in your head or even next to you is fine. But like, there's really no substitute for just being a good listener.
No. Yeah. And I think when you overthink what you're going to say, the authenticity is lost. Like who I actually am and what I actually want to say never comes out because I'm just saying what I think I should say. And when I write a script, I'm not like witty or funny or like anything. It's just that there's not much personality to it. And I'm like really closing myself off here.
Absolutely. And you're like thinking about what you're going to say next too, instead of listening to their response. I struggled with that when we first started having guests. I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm not even engaged because I'm thinking about like what I want to say next, when the question will naturally come if I just listen to them. It's much easier than we make it to be. We make it harder on ourselves, I think.
Which is like with everything, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're interesting if you're interested.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's one of the compliments that I got from someone when I was like, maybe like 5 episodes in, someone said like, you're a really good listener. And I wanted to be like, no, I'm just really freaking scared. But
I am terrified right now. Really. That's what this face is.
I'm like, yeah, thank you.
Of course. Have you in the last year, I have like a silly question.
Sure. I like silly.
Okay. What's your favorite like quarantine cocktail?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Okay. So this is like quarantine as in like, I'm going to pull out whatever I have in my house to make it work. Cause
Nice.
I'm not going to go to the store. So I love Casamigos tequila. I really wish they would sponsor me.
Are they listening?
You guys, anyone out there?
Anyone out there?
It's George Clooney. I think he sold the company for like $70 billion or something.
I heard something about
or
that.
million,
Ooh.
not billion.
Oh my
I
gosh.
think it's like 70 million, but still.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
So I think I had Casamigos tequila and I had Cuties oranges.
Ooh.
And I love a good spicy margarita, but I did not have any like club soda to top it with. So I used bubbly sparkling water, the grapefruit one. So it's grapefruit, orange, jalapeno, Casamigos margarita. And I like filled a water bottle with it, like A big guy.
Yum.
It just like laid in my pool for the day and was just like, you will find me here.
That sounds amazing.
I'm currently out of the office.
Yes.
Or because you're an entrepreneur, you're in the office, and that's how it can be sometimes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like that's just one of those days, I think it was actually like mostly on the weekends, I would just like shut off and be like, all right, I've looked at the screen far too many hours. Like, let's get out of here.
Love that.
Are there
Wow.
are you a big Netflix watcher? Do you have any shows that you would like to recommend that you're watching currently?
Yes. Okay. So that is another way that I really shut off. I am like a Bravaholic, first of all.
Yes.
I am Real Housewives, everything. Like, yes, anything like juicy reality TV, I'm into. And so that's kind of how I shut my brain off too. Like my dad, whenever I'm like visiting my parents in Wisconsin, he's like, I don't understand how you can watch this trash. And I'm like, I watch it so I don't think about anything. And I just think about their crazy lives for a minute.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's like therapy to me. Like
Pure
just,
escapism.
yeah, it really is. It really is. So I just, whatever to anybody who says that is just like brain poison. I'm like, it works for me. So whatever works for you.
That to each his own. Whatever works for you is
works.
so important.
Yes, absolutely. But yes, when it comes to Netflix, my husband and I have probably like given Netflix like another round of funding. We have watched like every single Netflix show that you can imagine. I just finished The Sinner, like all 3 seasons.
I was going to ask you if you've seen it. That is so weird that you just said that because we love it.
The first one,
Oh no, I think you
Cora one,
froze.
that one is by far the best, I think.
With Jessica Biel.
Cora, the first season of The Sinner, Cora, with Jessica Biel.
Yes.
That one is the best. So good, unbelievable, so many twists and turns. I'm going on vacation on Thursday, and so I downloaded for the plane The Baker and the Beauty, which my husband watched by himself last weekend and said was so good.
I've heard good things about that. Isn't it?
seen
Is
that.
it originally an Israeli show?
I don't know.
Okay, I feel like it might be, but I think
so.
there are multiple versions of it.
Okay.
That's really cool.
Honestly, Netflix, you name it, I've watched it. So I recommend it all.
That's amazing. I watched the first season of The Sinner and the third, but for some reason, I don't know how I skipped over the second one. Did you enjoy the second one?
It was, the little boy, right?
The little boy, yeah. That one was really interesting. For a while I was watching that, I was at a complete loss as to what was going on for a second. And then I got back into it. But yeah, it's good. It's good.
That one I detached from a little bit as well.
Yeah.
I couldn't, like, it kind of lost me a little bit in the middle. But yeah, the last one was good too. So I hope they do another one, actually.
They are. Sorry.
They are. Okay.
Yes. I'm very excited.
Ginny and Georgia. Did you watch that?
Oh, no.
I didn't, but I've had people recommend it to me.
Very, very good.
Okay,
I
I'll have
haven't
to watch that.
Please watch that one. And that's one of those that I ended up like staying up a little bit later than I normally do to watch it. I'm FYI, I'm a grandma. I go to bed at like 9:30 every night.
What time do you wake up?
Like 5. So
can you show me your ways? I'm the opposite.
Yeah.
I like go to bed at 3, wake up at 10.
She's a night owl.
Yeah, I'm like ready by 8:30 and I force myself to stay awake till 9:30 because I'm like, that is just really lame. This 9:30 is still bad, but 8:30 is like really bad. 9:30 is like when I am like, I have no problem falling asleep. I can close my eyes and be out in a few minutes. I never used to be like that, to be honest with you, but I think I am just, my brain is just going so hard every day that when it's time to like shut off, I am just like, goodbye.
Yeah.
Is it in sync with like your business's hours? Is that why you wake up, or are you just naturally like that?
Okay, so I actually get up at that time because I love that quiet time in the morning. So like from 5 until like 7, before my dogs are up, before my husband's up, I have like my my little morning ritual and I get into work and I save all of my super creative work for the morning. So if I need to like write a blog post, or if I need to usually write like, or come up with like podcast ideas, or write a very in-depth and like thoughtful email, I'll save it for that time because my brain is just like very clear. Nobody needs my attention yet. I'm not being pulled in a million directions. And yeah, it seems to work for me. So, I mean, other than the fact of being just super lame at 30 years old, but
It's not lame.
It's
Oh
not
my God.
lame.
I
It's
wish I
not
could
lame.
do that so much. I always like, read that like people that are super phenomenal in the business space wake up so early and like get everything done by like 9 a.m. And I'm just like, I really wish I'm still sleeping, but I like try my best to fit everything in. Like, I feel like my like personal, like productive hours are like between 3 p.m. and like 8 p.m. That's when I'm like crunching, on the computer, but like,
whatever
man,
works for you, whatever works for you. I think like that though, honestly, on most days, like by 10 a.m. I have already gotten like my entire day's work done, and then a workout in, and then I let the day kind of take its course, because there's going to be a million things that happen with just 4 different businesses. Like there's going to be things coming from all angles. I have to kind of clear up the day.
Yeah.
I don't have time to do like task type work in the day. And I also do want the flexibility. If I just want to say like, screw it, I can just peace out. Because I'm already done. But again, honestly, whatever works for you. I had to like train myself to get that second wind in the afternoon. Cause usually by 3 p.m. I'm like, okay, like I would love to just like go pour myself a glass of wine and just have a snack and just chill. But then now being a little bit more busy than normal, I kind of force myself to like power through that like 3 to 5, and then I can shut off.
Are you a coffee drinker?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'll take like, if you're going to give me energy, I'll take it. Like, yes, absolutely.
Alexa just went off of coffee and she seems to be handling it very well.
It was giving me anxiety, so I had to stop drinking it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, some people have like really sensitive adrenals, and it really like I used to, but what I've found is that when I actually I drink a cup of coffee, and I don't have like a huge cup of coffee, but I have like very early in the morning, and then I take CBD as well. Like the combination is like hyper focus. It's like my little like,
maybe I just need to drink coffee and then take CBD. That's what
honestly, it kind of gives me the energy, but then like calms my mind.
Okay.
So I really focus.
That sounds like a plan. I think that might be my new, because I like the taste of it. Yeah. And I've switched out with another morning drink to like just have something in a mug. But I actually enjoy the taste of coffee. So sometimes I miss it. But so maybe I need to try that combo. Maybe that'll work for me.
Every once in a while too, I'll like realize I drink a little too much coffee, and then I'll be like,
yeah.
So this is the first time Alexa and I have ever done a joint podcast. So I wasn't sure when to ask our final important question. So I didn't know if you wanted to hit us with something else before we asked you that, because we want it to be equally lovely for you.
So, yes. I always ask an ending or closing question to everyone. If someone asked you today how you figured it out, what would you tell them?
I haven't.
Answer.
I was like, I haven't figured it out yet. I definitely haven't figured it out.
Yes.
All I know is that
I don't know.
I don't know. And I want to keep learning and continue trying to figure it out.
Honestly, that's the best answer. And so
I passed.
Sometimes when people hit me with like, well, I did this, this, and this, and I'm like, yeah, but like, you're never going to have it figured out. And like I was saying earlier, like if you do, then it's time to find something new. So if you feel like you have it figured out, like what's next?
There's always more to learn. There's always more to learn. We're work in progress. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great question. Is that what your answer would be also?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I'll ever have it figured out. Like I could have the most successful businesses in the world. I could be a wife, a mom, a daughter, just look like I have it figured out. But truly, I don't think I'll ever let myself have it figured out, because I want to keep getting better and keep growing as a person, as an everything. So
I feel like it wouldn't even be fun. to have
Yeah,
it
like
figured
what am I
out.
gonna do? Like
Yeah.
that actually brings me back to like the idea of you know, my husband, he works in cannabis and he does well for himself. And I've literally been asked before, if people ask me like, okay, well, now you can just stay home. And I'm like, do I look like the kind of girl that wants to stay home? Like that is just like a smack in the face to me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
no, I actually won't stay home. And even if I had a $20 billion, I would still be working. It just wouldn't be for money. I would be doing it
Yeah.
for a cause or something, you know? But
Absolutely.
I need a purpose. Like I
Mhm.
need a reason to like wake up every day and keep me going. So there's my 2 cents.
I love that.
Couldn't agree more, honestly. Yeah.
Me too. Kelsey,
Yes,
are you okay?
sometimes.
All right. How are you doing today?
Today's a good day.
Excellent.
Today's a
Okay.
good day. Yes. Yeah, nothing bad has happened today. Just a lot of things. It's putting a lot on my plate, trying to cram things in here before I take a couple days off.
Excellent.
Good.
Excellent. Alexa, are you okay?
I'm swell today.
Swell.
I'm swell. Pam, am I allowed to share
Oh boy.
what we did yesterday?
Sure. It's your the horse has left the meadow or whatever that saying is. It's go for it.
Pam and I went on an adventure for the first time since like 2019, probably because of COVID, and we got a tattoo.
Ooh.
Yes, we did.
We did.
I love it so much, and I'm
I
very
love it
excited
too.
about it. It was very
It's
scary, but I loved it.
Yeah.
Was that your first tattoo?
That was my second. My
second as
first
well.
one hurt so badly that I was really scared. I also got my first one in a very like sensitive spot. So this one
Yeah.
was way better. And it's teeny and cute and very happy with it.
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a good experience.
I have 6 tattoos, but they're all like you couldn't see any of them if I was wearing clothes. So what I'm wearing is
same here.
You can see them all, but yeah, I mean, I like it that way. It's kind of like when I say that to people, people are like, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of my
cool arm sleeve, but I don't know. I don't know if I can pull it off, but I love that look. When girls can pull that off, like it looks
really amazing. It really looks really amazing on some women. I don't know if I'm fearless enough to do that, but
one of my brothers has a whole arm sleeve on one arm and it looks so cool.
Yeah.
Like, can I be like you?
mine are also fairly hidden. Like if I'm, wearing what I'm wearing now, there's no way you would see it. And it's like, even if I had like a shorter sleeved, I'd have to be like a very specific angle to like show it. And I like that mystery because it's really more for me, you know?
Yes.
Exactly. Should be getting them for yourself. So yeah.
Absolutely. All right, ladies, can you tell my listeners where they will be able to find you?
Absolutely.
Yes.
You can follow us on Instagram at No One's Okay. And YouTube, we have a YouTube channel. You can watch our episodes there. And we're on Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, you name it. Did I miss one? Did I miss one, Alexa? No? Okay, good.
I don't think so.
And where can our listeners find you?
Yes. I am very active on Instagram. So my personal Instagram is KELSEY.Ayers is my last name, which is EYERS. And then you can follow 2 of my businesses, which is at Sweat CBD and at Boss Box. The Instagram for that is at the.bossboxx. And you'll be able to find our websites from those Instagrams as well.
You guys, her Boss Box website is so gorgeous.
Cool.
It's pretty.
Check out her businesses.
Thank you so much.
Everything's so aesthetically pleasing. I love looking at all of your pages.
It really is. And I just am so lucky to have found the team that I found to work with on this. And like I said, I am very aware of my strengths and weaknesses. And I know that is not my area. I'm creative, but I am not artistic. And so I can give you like my ideas. Like I want clean and pretty, and I want to emulate this brand and this brand. And then for somebody else to make it happen, I'm like, magic. This is just magic. I'm so excited, but thank you.
Of course, it's wonderful. Congratulations on your amazing
Yes.
businesses.
Thank you so much. And this was so fun. I look forward to connecting with you guys again and maybe going and getting a drink in LA.
Yes.
Heck yes,
Love
we
that.
would love that so much. It was so fun chatting with you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all the things. If for some reason you want to see more of us, you can follow us on Instagram at No One's Okay.
And a special thanks to Jordan Ross Weinhold, Sean Moore, Jason Crow, Claire Palmer, Jackson Palmer, Tiffany Haymoff, Shane Rings, James Liddell, and our podcast is recorded at Soundworks Studios.
We can't wait to meet you.